Well, it's very, very lovely to be here with everybody, and a surprise to be invited to share a few words this morning. I've not been to one of these morning reflections for about 12 or 15 years, so I'm not quite sure how they usually go, but had a very lovely discussion at tea time yesterday, and one of the main themes that came up, and one of the main themes I seem to think about and talk about a lot these days, is just the importance of staying in touch. And it was interesting when I first arrived at Ajahn Paul Pasano, he said, well, how good it was to visit and to keep in touch. So there's keeping in touch with each other, keeping in touch with all the different monasteries around the world, the sort of vast family that we have, brothers and sisters, all doing the same thing or trying to do the same thing in very, very different situations, different sizes of monasteries, different cultures, different climates, all the different things that each community needs to adapt to. So I've been privileged to visit many of the monasteries on several continents. But when I talk about keeping in touch, I also talk about keeping in touch with what's going on with ourselves, the kind of internal keeping in touch. And even when I'm talking with people who are just beginning meditation and wondering how to continue their practice at home, I say, well, just have 5 or 10 minutes each day where you just sit down and just check in with yourself, keep in touch. You don't need to call it meditation, but just kind of keeping in touch, noticing how it is with you. And my sense is that this is a really fundamental aspect of the practice, and we could call it mindfulness, really, where throughout the day, whatever we're doing, we're aware of how this being is, as it's approaching things, as it's responding to things, as it's affected by things. As a monastic, we undertake a training to be harmless. This is like one of the fundamental principles, to live a life that is not causing harm, not causing disruption or unhappiness to people as far as we possibly can. And one of the fundamental causes of harm is when we don't stay in touch, when we lose contact. Often, I don't know about you, but I find myself going up into my head and thinking about things, and I can get very agitated and upset if I think too much about things. So to recognise, what's going on in there. Is there a sense of calm and evenness and balance? Is my heart light and peaceful, or am I feeling really stirred up and confused and upset and angry? And to notice that. Not with a sense of judgment or blame, but as a sense of being a really good friend, an understanding friend who can actually hear our suffering, hear the struggle that we might be experiencing. And as you all know, the first noble truth is there is suffering. And what's also spoken about, but maybe not so emphatically, not so frequently, is that this suffering has to be understood. So, in order to understand something, we have to kind of befriend it, or at least make space for it, so we can investigate it. And only in this way can we come to a place of letting go, a peaceful resolution of whatever the difficulty might be. We also talked yesterday about letting go and how that can sometimes be confused with getting rid of. Of course, we all want to get rid of suffering, but unless we approach it with the attitude of letting go, allowing to go, allowing things to change, rather than the grasping to get rid of, unless we really learn how to open to accept and acknowledge and allow it to go, we're just going to act and speak in ways that perpetuate the various ways that we cause suffering for ourselves and each other. So this practice is in some ways very, very simple, very, very ordinary, but because of the way our minds have been conditioned, it's not very easy. Because we're conditioned to keep things nice. And if something is not nice, we try to change it or get rid of it. If something is nice, we try to hold on to it and keep it. But these are not particularly helpful as responses. So when there's a difficulty, when we're feeling confused and upset, can we just pause, even just a breath, and just acknowledge this is how it is? Just establishing a sense of calm, a sense of peacefulness. And then from that place we can respond to whatever may have arisen, either internally, a thought, a memory, about something or other, something that's causing us sorrow or pain, or somebody says something or something happens around us. So the letting go is rather subtle. It's not getting rid of. It implies a readiness to accommodate and to allow change to happen. So in terms of our life today, there'll surely be moments when things go beautifully well and everything works first time, and people understand us, they don't get upset or confused by things that we say. There'll be times when it's like that, and we can enjoy that, recognizing that this is how it is right now, this is pleasant. And there'll be times when it's maybe less pleasant, when we make a mistake or we hurt ourselves, we burn ourselves on the oven, we cut our finger, we make a fool of ourselves in some way and feel foolish or upset. And we can recognize then, okay, this is how it is right now. This is not particularly pleasant. I would like it to be otherwise, and this is how it is. Let's breathe. Let's allow change to happen. Let's bring forth a heart of kindness. Let's bring forth words and actions that support well-being for others, and perhaps even more importantly for ourselves. So finding this balance and seeing ourselves as part of the whole, caring for all of it, with a sense of joy and appreciation of this lineage that we find ourselves a part of. So these are a few words that I hope can be supportive and encouraging today.